A lot of owners think their intelligent dog is being stubborn. The dog hears the command, pauses, stares for a second, and then seems to make its own decision instead of responding immediately. That moment frustrates people because it feels intentional. The dog clearly understands what was asked, yet something inside its brain seems to stop the response halfway through. But in many cases, the dog is not ignoring the owner at all. The dog is thinking, processing, analyzing, and sometimes completely overloading itself mentally before making a decision. Highly intelligent dogs often experience the world very differently from calmer, simpler-minded breeds. Their brains rarely seem fully quiet. They constantly study movement, routines, sounds, emotional energy, and environmental changes around them. Even during ordinary moments, many smart dogs are still mentally working in the background. That is why some intelligent dogs appear restless even after exercise. Their body may be tired, but their brain keeps searching for stimulation, information, or something meaningful to focus on. Owners usually first notice this during training. A highly intelligent dog learns commands incredibly fast, then suddenly starts hesitating, questioning, or behaving inconsistently afterward. One day the dog responds instantly. The next day it pauses and seems to think about it before obeying. Many people immediately label this behavior as stubbornness or dominance. In reality, the dog is often processing far more information than the owner realizes. Smart dogs tend to notice patterns very quickly. They study tone changes, body posture, routines, emotional reactions, and even tiny inconsistencies in how commands are given. That awareness becomes both a strength and a challenge. The dog learns fast, but it also begins constantly analyzing situations instead of simply reacting automatically. This is especially common in highly intelligent working breeds. Border Collies, Belgian Malinois, Dobermans, German Shepherds, Poodles, and many other advanced breeds often stay mentally active almost non-stop. Some dogs become so aware of their environment that they struggle to fully relax. Every sound, movement, or emotional shift around them feels important enough to monitor. Owners often describe these dogs as always switched on. Even while resting, the dog still seems to be watching, listening, and processing everything nearby. That constant mental activity can sometimes create frustration inside the dog itself. The brain wants stimulation, but the environment may not provide enough healthy outlets. This is where people start noticing strange behaviors. The dog paces around the house, watches windows obsessively, follows owners constantly, or becomes fixated on small environmental changes. To outsiders, it can look like hyperactivity. But very often the dog is mentally understimulated while simultaneously emotionally overloaded. That combination creates a dog that struggles to switch off. The brain never fully settles because it keeps searching for something to engage with. Owners are often shocked by how emotionally sensitive intelligent dogs can become. A highly observant dog notices tension inside the home almost immediately. Changes in routine, emotional stress, or inconsistent leadership can affect these dogs very quickly because they process so much information all the time. One of the biggest mistakes owners make is assuming intelligence automatically creates emotional stability. In reality, some of the smartest dogs are also the dogs most prone to anxiety, frustration, and overthinking. A highly intelligent dog often anticipates situations before they happen. The dog begins mentally preparing for outcomes that may never even occur. That is why some dogs become anxious during familiar routines like picking up keys, putting on shoes, or grabbing a leash. The dog already predicts what comes next before the event fully begins. For many owners, the moment everything suddenly makes sense happens during ordinary training sessions. The dog clearly understands the command but hesitates anyway. The hesitation is not confusion. It is often the dog mentally processing multiple possibilities at once. The dog may be thinking about previous outcomes, emotional tone, distractions nearby, or whether the environment feels completely safe and predictable. That pause frustrates many owners because it looks intentional. But highly intelligent dogs often struggle precisely because they think too much instead of reacting naturally in the moment. Some dogs become perfectionists during training. They hesitate because they are trying to avoid making mistakes. Others become mentally bored very quickly once they fully understand repetitive exercises. The brain starts looking elsewhere for stimulation because the task no longer feels engaging. This is why intelligent dogs often need more than simple obedience drills. They usually thrive when training feels interactive, purposeful, and mentally stimulating. Puzzle-solving games, scent work, advanced obedience, agility, tracking, and structured engagement often help these dogs feel mentally fulfilled. But balance matters too. Constant stimulation without proper calmness training can accidentally create a dog that never truly learns how to relax. Many owners unknowingly turn intelligent dogs into emotional athletes. The dog becomes extremely mentally active but never develops an off switch. Over time, this creates a dog that constantly seeks stimulation because quiet moments begin feeling uncomfortable. That is why calm structure is just as important as enrichment. Intelligent dogs need opportunities to slow down mentally instead of remaining emotionally engaged every second of the day. Some of the most balanced smart dogs are not the ones doing non-stop activities. They are the dogs that learn both engagement and emotional regulation. That balance changes everything. The dog begins understanding when it is time to think deeply and when it is safe to simply relax. Another thing owners notice is how emotionally tuned in these dogs become toward their families. Highly intelligent dogs often study human behavior extremely closely. They notice stress, frustration, excitement, sadness, and tension long before most people realize the dog is paying attention. This emotional awareness can create incredibly strong bonds between intelligent dogs and their owners. But it can also create emotional pressure inside the dog if the environment feels unstable or chaotic. Some smart dogs become overly attached because their brain constantly monitors the emotional state of the people around them. That is why separation anxiety often appears more strongly in highly intelligent breeds. The dog becomes deeply dependent on constant awareness of its owner's presence and routines. Without proper emotional balance, the dog struggles whenever that connection suddenly disappears. This does not mean intelligent dogs are problem dogs. In fact, many of the world's most capable working dogs possess these exact same traits. The difference is that working dogs usually receive structure, purpose, guidance, and consistent outlets for both physical and mental energy. When those needs are missing, the dog's intelligence can start working against itself. The brain keeps searching for problems to solve, even when no real problems exist. That is often when owners begin describing the dog as stubborn, difficult, anxious, or impossible to switch off. But once owners understand what is actually happening, the relationship often changes completely. The dog is not trying to challenge the owner constantly. Very often, the dog is simply overwhelmed by its own level of awareness and mental activity. Once training becomes calmer, clearer, and more balanced, many intelligent dogs become far easier to live with. The goal is not exhausting the dog mentally every hour of the day. The goal is teaching the dog how to engage properly and how to relax properly afterward. That balance creates confidence instead of constant overthinking. The dog learns it does not need to analyze every little detail all the time. And once that happens, owners often discover something surprising. Beneath all the overthinking, hesitation, and mental intensity is usually a dog that desperately wants clarity, structure, and connection with the people it trusts most.